Toronto semi looks perfect in the photos. Clean brick, bright main floor, brand new kitchen, finished basement, nothing to do but move in. Here's the problem. In Toronto, a lot of renovated semis are not being sold as old houses with upgrades. They're being sold as finished products. And the risk is that the upgrades are the problem. Everyone thinks a renovated semi means move-in ready. The reality is the renovation is often where the money pit starts. Missing permits, basement units that look like income but are not built to code, cosmetic work hiding electrical and structural issues. And in some neighborhoods, a detached is not really detached. There's one simple pattern behind most of the disasters that I see. The work looks expensive, but the paperwork is very thin. And the fixes are not cosmetic fixes. They are tear it open fixes. Let's talk about why this is showing up so much right now. You're looking at a housing type that is old, heavily renovated, and constantly traded. Toronto semis are the go-to step-up home for a lot of buyers. They're also the easiest house for fast renovation because the layout is predictable and the buyer demand is always there. At the same time, the market has changed from peak years. You're seeing more listings sit, more price cuts, and more deals that do not happen in one weekend. That creates a different kind of pressure. Sellers want top dollar, but buyers are more skeptical, and more homes have a renovation story that needs to hold up under scrutiny. This isn't just one neighborhood. This is a signal. So if you're looking at a Toronto semi that feels too perfect, here are the 5 places the hidden problems show up most often. First is the open concept main floor. Open concept is the biggest buyer magnet. It also creates the biggest structural risk when it's done the wrong way. If someone removes a load-bearing wall without proper plans and approvals, the house might not fail right away. It can move slowly. Floors that feel slightly uneven, doors that start rubbing, windows that suddenly stick, cracks that keep coming back after they were fixed. Sometimes you'll see a bulkhead that looks out of place or a random post in the middle of a room that doesn't match anything else. The big tell is this. In Toronto, structural changes like adding or removing walls require permits. So when you see a 1950s or 1930s layout turned into a perfect modern rectangle, the question is not, does it look good? The question is, was this done properly? And this is where a lot of people get misled. A nice finish does not prove anything about what's inside the ceiling. Second, is the finished basement. Basements sell dreams in Toronto. Extra space, a home office, a guest suite, or an income setup that makes the payment feel easier. But there are 2 different issues down there. Issue 1 is legal compliance. A second unit has specific safety requirements. Fire separation between units, proper alarms, safe exits, ceiling heights that work, windows that can actually be used as an emergency exit in a real situation. That's why you'll see listings use soft language like in-law suite or great basement space instead of clearly calling it a legal second unit. Sometimes it is legal and sometimes it's not. And the difference matters because the city can require changes if it's not compliant, and the cost, it's not small. Issue 2 is water. A finished basement can hide water problems better than any other part of the house. New drywall and new flooring can cover staining, past leaks, and foundation issues. And in older semis, water is not rare. The house has been through decades of freeze and thaw, and the drainage around the property is not always modern. You do not need to see a puddle to have a problem. A musty smell that never really goes away, a dehumidifier running all day, fresh paint only on the lower 2 feet of the wall, or brand new flooring with a few oddly new baseboards can all be tells that someone is managing moisture and not fixing it. Third is what I call the cosmetic trap. This is where the house looks upgraded in places you look at first, but the expensive systems are still old. The scariest version is electrical. Many older Toronto homes still have older wiring systems, including knob and tube in houses built in the early part of the 1900s. Knob and tube was not built for modern electrical loads, and it lacks grounding the way newer wiring does, even if it's still functioning. The market reality is insurance. Insurers can be strict about active knob and tube. Some will not insure it. Some will insure it with conditions. Some will require it to be completely replaced. And replacing it is not like swapping in some light fixture. It can mean opening walls and ceilings in multiple rooms because wiring runs through the house. So the real cost is not just the electrician, it's everything you disturb to do the work. The tells are usually simple. A mix of 2-prong and 3-prong outlets, older panels, a lot of odd add-ons like extension cords used as permanent solutions, or a panel that looks like it's been patched over the years. Now let me give you the midpoint reality check, because this is where a lot of people get caught. There is one piece of paper that tells you more than the kitchen ever will. It's the permit and records trail. A renovated semi can look flawless, but still be a mess behind the walls. The only way to separate a clean renovation from a risky renovation is the paper trail. What was approved, what was inspected, and what was never recorded. In Toronto, you can pull information on permits and building records through the city. You can also see if there are open items tied to the property. That matters because a lot of buyers only learn about missing paperwork after they already own the house. Now back to the house itself. Fourth is the structure and the settling. Semis are old and some are starting to show real movement. This is not about small cosmetic cracking. This is about the house slowly shifting. What you can see as a buyer is often subtle. Floors that slope, especially towards the middle of the house. Cracks that are wider at one end than the other. A staircase that feels a little off. Doors that do not stay open or slam shut on their own. On the outside, brick can tell a story. Stair step cracking in the mortar, bricks that look like they're pushing outwards. And one of the biggest red flags in older brick semis is the chimney that is separating from the house. Even a small gap can become a direct path for water. It can also become a safety issue over time. Under the floors, you can also see issues like joists that have been cut, undersized, or weakened by old plumbing work. A bouncy floor is not always a disaster, but in a renovated semi, it can be a clue that the finish came before the structure. Fifth is the detached that is not really detached. This is the link home issue. In some Toronto neighborhoods built in the 1970s and the 80s, you'll see houses that look detached above ground, but they are connected below grade by part of the foundation or footing. Why does this matter? Because the market prices detached homes differently. Detached carries a premium. If someone pays a detached price and later learns that it's linked, that can change how the next buyer values it. And it's not always obvious in the showing. From the street, it looks detached. In the side yard, it can feel detached. The connection is underground. That's why this is usually found in the legal review. The plan of subdivision and the title search is where the story shows up. And sometimes the seller doesn't even know what they own. So what's the verdict on Toronto semis right now? This is not a Toronto semis are falling apart story. A lot of semis are solid homes. This is a risk gap story. When the market rewards finishes more than paperwork, you get more renovation shortcuts. And when buyers start getting cautious again, the houses with thin paper trails get exposed. They sit, they get renegotiated, or they blow up during conditions. Using the MATS filter, here's what that looks like in real life. When you see more inventory, it's often stress listings and stale listings. When you see more price cuts, it's sellers chasing reality. And in renovated semis, the fastest way to chase reality is when missing permits, basement issues, or electrical problems show up after the offer is accepted. Here are 3 things to watch next, just as signals. First, listings with major layout changes that do not clearly show a permit trail. If the house was transformed, the paper trail should match the story. Second, basements marketed as income or suite potential, but described in vague language. Vague language is not proof of a problem, but it's a cue that the status may not be clear. Third, insurance friction. If you start hearing more cases where insurers require electrical upgrades or refuse coverage on older wiring, that will change the buyer pool for certain older semis fast. Again, my name is Max Moy. I'm a real estate agent here in the Greater Toronto area. If you want help making informed decisions, feel free to book a free 15-minute discovery call using the link in the description down below or the QR code somewhere right here on the screen. And if you want the other side of the story, where the housing stock is newer and the growth setup is completely different, watch this video right here, and I'll see you there.